It looks ridiculous, but it tastes fantastic. This tree actually tastes like an orange. I didn't think that an orange tree would actually taste like an orange. I figured it might look like an orange, smell like an orange, but apparently if you suck on the leaves of your orange tree, hopefully not when company's over, it tastes like an orange. Ah, who knew? But anything can happen here in the Voodoo Garden. By the way, welcome. My name's Ray. I am your host. And before we get started, keep your hands, feet in the vehicle, and if you have any questions, be sure to ask me as soon as the tour is over, okay? Let's get started with the thing I had in my mouth. This is an orange tree. Yes, it's an actual orange tree. And I was eating an orange a long time ago, and I took the seed, peeled off the outside, shoved it in the soil, and what do you know, I got an orange tree. And it tastes like an orange tree, it smells like an orange tree, it's wonderful. I don't know if it'll ever produce oranges, but I really don't care because it's just fun to grow. Come on over here, have a seat next to me, and let me show you what I got, okay? Alright, first thing on the Voodoo Garden Fruit Tour, I love that, the fruit tour, is going to be an orange tree. I grew this from a regular orange that I got at the store, but the orange was extremely sweet, delicious, and I decided to just shove an orange seed in the dirt and it grew. It grew so well that I had it growing to the side and then it was taking up too much room and it looked a little bit mentally challenged on one side, so I cut off both stems and this thing shot right up from the middle. And then it got too tall, it was just going nuts, and so I cut off the top and now it has one here, one here, one here, one here, so I'm assuming if I play my cards right, I'm going to have like this bushy type of orange thing going here, kind of like a bonsai orange. Let's hope so. This is my miracle fruit. I've shown it before, but it's getting a little bit bigger and a little bit healthier because it has little side stems. It did nothing for the longest time, and then all of a sudden it changed its mind, got its mind right, and decided to start putting out leaves. So my little miracle fruit is a miracle. It's actually not only growing, but it's thriving. And it does like acidic soil, so every now and then I dump a cup of coffee in it, and it seems to like that because coffee is acidic. Alright, there's a few bumps on this tour. This is not a fruit, but it is beautiful, and I got it for St. Patrick's Day. It's a shamrock. It's an actual shamrock plant, and it's called oxalis. That's the name of the plant, and it puts out little flowers. Gosh only knows if it'll ever put out seeds, I really don't care. But this thing was in a tiny little pot, and you can normally find them in the grocery stores around St. Patrick's Day, and they generally don't last long. But I transplanted this, and it decided to grow. I give it eastern light, moisten the soil just a little bit, let it dry out just a little, but not all the way like most plants, and it seems to like it. It has 3 leaves, little pink flowers. I think it's kind of cool. So, coming in close, coming in close. This is a dwarf pomegranate. Somebody sent me dwarf pomegranate seeds, and thank you, whoever you are. You know who you are. You're probably in the back row here, but thanks to you, I have a dwarf pomegranate. And it's not only just a pomegranate, it's a pomegranate that's starting to fork off at the bottom, and I didn't even pinch the top. Usually I pinch the top and I make these things fork. Aha! This one got the clue before I took the scissors to it. So it seems to be doing good. And yes, this is what it looks like. This is a strawberry plant. I have 27 and I showed them on another channel, but this one I'm going to keep inside and grow in the Voodoo Garden this year because I want an indoor strawberry plant as well as outdoors. That way, in case the squirrels decide to come in with tanks and weapons and all kinds of nasty stuff, or the birds, I'm going to have at least one plant growing strawberries this year. So hopefully it'll start putting out runners and strawberries and all kinds of fun stuff since I have all the lighting in the world here. We'll see how it does in the Voodoo Garden. Can you guess what this is? I planted this in February, around the end of February, and this is my goji berry. And it grew fantastic. It was this itty bitty thing in a cup. And then I planted it into this pot because I just assumed it wouldn't get that big, so I figured this pot will probably be the last pot I put it in. Boy, was I wrong. And I pinched off the top because it was getting really, really tall and getting too close to the light, and it put out these side shoots. And it's putting them out all up and down the stem, so I'm assuming what's going to happen is it's just going to start growing out, and I'm going to have to transplant this a little sooner than I thought. I thought it was going to be there forever. Apparently, it's only going to be in here another month or so until it's too big for this, so it's going to have to go into a larger pot. Who knew I could grow a goji berry? Another sharp turn in the Voodoo Garden Tour. This is not a fruit. This is a bean. It's called a Bartolo Rosso. I was growing this so that I could take it out into my garden, but it started flowering and fruiting, and I really did not honestly believe it would put out beans that would get this big. Boy, was I surprised. I surprised even myself, and these plants keep throwing me curves. I have no idea what. If you ever want to grow these, they're called Bartolo Rosso. They're Italian, and they are absolutely beautiful. The beans inside are going to be the same color, all kinds of different red and greens. Really a nice looking bean. And I heard they're delicious as well on salads. Next stop on the Voodoo Garden Tour. This is a palm. It's called an acai palm. A-C-A-I. I've shown this before, but it's made a little bit more progress since the last time you saw it. It only had the starter leaves here. Now it's putting out a new leaf right here. It produces dates, and it does it profusely. Tons and tons and tons of dates. They are absolutely delicious. They're wonderful. And apparently I can grow a palm in my house. I sure as heck couldn't grow this outside, but it seems to like it indoors, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed, hoping this stays alive. I have two of these, but this is the better of the two. The other one's nice, but this one's putting out its second leaf already. I grew these from seed, and I started them, oops, I have no date. I have no idea when they started. They're a mystery. But it wasn't too long ago. It seems to be doing good. Wish me luck. A little farther down the line on the Voodoo Garden Tour, we have an Apache blackberry. Yes, this is a blackberry cane, but the nice thing about Apache blackberries is thornless. And I can't grow this outside because I have more blackbirds than an Alfred Hitchcock movie, and I don't want to put up a wire fence around this thing because it's going to really, grow crazy, and I'd have to put up a huge fence. So I thought, I have room and I have light upstairs. What's to stop me from growing blackberries inside? They normally grow in partial sun or bright shade. So I have partial sun and bright shade inside. I'm going to grow blackberries in here. So with any luck, hopefully this next winter, I'm going to have blackberries growing inside, and I sure hope you tune in to see that because it's actually going to be... While we're on the subject of blackberries, how's this one? I got this in a tiny black pot at Walmart for 10 bucks, and it looked a little bit sad, but I tossed it into some potting mix of mine, put it underneath a light, and it started putting out all of these new shoots, and I don't know if it's going to produce fruit, but I think that this is a little bud that's going to have flowers and fruit. This is also a thornless, but I don't believe it's the Apache kind. It didn't say, it just said blackberry. Nice of Walmart to give me some detail on their plants, but I really didn't care because of the price. I'm also going to grow this inside, and hopefully it'll produce all kinds of fruit, but I want to take cuttings off of this and experiment just a little bit on taking cuttings from blackberries and rerooting them, because if I can do that, maybe I can grow some outside for the birds and inside for me. That way everybody's happy. It's a win-win situation. Blackberries in the Voodoo Garden. So while I was getting my blackberry, I noticed this off in the corner, and it was only $4 because it didn't look very good. This is a blueberry. Blueberries can grow in full sun or partial shade. So inside is going to be perfect for this plant, and I'm hoping to get all kinds of blueberries off of this probably next year. This season I'm more than likely just going to get green growth, but next season inside in the Voodoo Garden I'm going to have me some blueberries. While we're on the subject of blueberries, I have what's called a Saskatoon blueberry, but it's also a Saskatoon serviceberry. I got this from Gurney's, and it came as a bare root stock because I wanted to grow something like a blueberry, but something that didn't require acidic soil. You need acidic soil to grow blueberries, but not Saskatoons. Saskatoons taste like blueberries, look like blueberries, but they do not require acidic soil. They'll grow anywhere, and they grow extremely tall. They will grow 4 feet tall and 4 feet wide. So this thing is going to be a monster when it's full grown. I'm very excited. It's called Saskatoon, and already it's started to put out all of its new buds, and this was just a stick when I got it. Not anymore. I got 2. They were supposed to send me 1, but they sent me a second one. I have no idea. Maybe they were in a good mood. So I put them both in the same pot, and as soon as they outgrow this pot, probably won't be until around Christmas, I'm going to put them in a bigger pot and grow them inside, but eventually this baby is going outside because I cannot have a 4-foot tall plant in my grow room. I'm really going to run out of room, but I wanted to show you while it's still a baby. Remember this, because the next time you see it, it's going to be... If this looks like a pot of sticks, That's because that's exactly what it is. I have 3 of them here. 1, 2, 3. And these are called Nanking cherries. They're not a cherry tree, they're a cherry shrub. And they stay shrub-like, and they basically have long stalks and they branch out just a little bit, but it'll be filled with blossoms and cherries, and they're pretty good. Not quite as good as a cherry tree, but then again, I don't want a cherry tree because they get a little bit too tall. They're hard to control outside with birds, and you know birds love cherries. I would never see a cherry if I grew it outside in tree form. So I decided to get the Nanking because I can grow them in a pot just like this and grow it out on my front porch and put a net over it, unlike a tree, which would be a little bit too crazy to try and keep netted from the birds. This I can protect from the birds. I just got it about maybe a week or so ago, but it has new buds starting out at ground level. And I'm not going to do a zoom, but believe me, it's got little tiny buds all up and down these stems, and they're just starting to put out their buds and starting to open up. Nanking cherries in the Voodoo Garden Tour. And this is exactly what it looks like. This is a pineapple plant. This is the first pineapple I ever grew, and it's the one that started the whole pineapple thing going on YouTube with everybody starting their pineapple tops. This one grew and grew and it got monstrous. I had to cut back the leaves because it got way too big. It put out a stalk, put out a cute little pineapple. I ate it. It was a good day for me, but a bad day to be a pineapple in my house. But it put out a new stem right here, and so all of this right here is all brand new. Down below this hand is the old pineapple. This is the new pineapple. So it sent out a new shoot, and hopefully within another year it'll put out another stem and another pineapple. I'll cut that off, and who knows what it's going to do from there. Whatever it's going to do, I will definitely keep you updated, and you're going to see this thing go and go and go. As far as I know, this plant is going to go on continuously. You know, some people think that once you harvest a pineapple, it dies, but this plant did not die. As a matter of fact, it's thriving and it's doing extremely well. And here we have the grand finale on the Voodoo Garden Fruit Tour. This is a lemon tree. Yes, a lemon tree. I grew this from seed. I started it in the winter and it grew up, put out a side branch, and I didn't want it to have such a big side branch. So what I did is I took string and I pulled these down and made it fork in the middle, and I trimmed off the growing tips, and look at what happened. It put out all of this new growth, and this is all relatively recent. This has only been maybe about a week and a half to 2 weeks worth of growth. It has one. I've never grown a lemon tree before, and this is all inside. No special anything. Just put it up to a light, give it organic fertilizer every now and then, and it seems to be doing good. This is a 16-inch pot, and I think this is the only size pot I'm ever going to need for this because I'm going to keep it trimmed down small. Hopefully I'm going to get lemons in my house. We'll see. We'll see if I get lemons from this thing, but I needed to show you this because I was so happy and I wanted to include it on the Voodoo Garden Fruit Tour. I know, this is not a fruit, but it wanted to be on the fruit tour, so I thought I'd bring it in and show you. Can you guess what this is? This is called a butch tea scorpion, one of the hottest peppers on earth. Somebody sent me some seeds and I wanted to do an update because it is going exceptionally well. It's in a little 6-inch pot. It gets absolutely nothing but compact fluorescent lighting and organic liquid fertilizer. Thanks for joining me on the Voodoo Garden Fruit Tour. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you found something that you liked here. Stay tuned. I'm going to keep you updated on all of these crazy, weird, strange, and sometimes exotic fruits up here in the Voodoo Garden. Have a great day, everybody. I am out of here. Bye. I'm not going to put this in my mouth or I will probably die. Okay, now what? Who wants McDonald's?